Hello everyone, welcome to another video, and today we are going to create this wonderful and incredible carousel. So it may seem complicated, but actually it's pretty simple. So I tried my best to keep the code as clean as possible so anyone can follow along. And as you can see, it has an autoplay, and if I hover it, it will stop, but if I move my mouse away, it will begin again, okay? So in here we have the arrow keys, we have the dot control, so I made sure to include all the basics of a carousel. And I'm pretty excited to make this tutorial, so let's begin. So let's begin installing the React app, okay? So to do this, we need to type npx create React app, and then we need to say in which folder we want to install the React. So I'm gonna type YouTube carousel 2, and then I'll press enter, and now it will install all the dependencies that it's needed to run React. If this command doesn't work, you first need to install Node.js, okay? So you can just go to Google and type Node.js, and then you can install the latest version of it. Alright, it's finished, and now we just need to run this cd and the folder you choose to install your app. I will just copy and paste it, and then I will start code vs in this location. So let's type code space and dots. So it just opened here, and now I'll just open the terminal, and then I will type npm start. After running this command, the web browser will open, and this is the React page, okay? So we just need to remove some files that are not necessary, so we'll just remove these ones. We'll delete, and then I'll go to index.js and remove these report web vitals, these two, and we'll save it. And then I will go to app. Oh, I forgot to remove one thing in here. Let's remove index.css as well. So we just remove this, and in app.js I will just erase all of these and just type reload, and I will remove the logo as well. So this is what we have, and it's centralized because we have CSS in app.css, so I remove, and then this is what we have. So now this is a clean installation of React, and we are ready to begin. So I've already selected some images so we don't lose a lot of time, and I will create a folder in public. I will call it images, and then I will paste all the images, okay? And I got all these images in Pixabay, so this is the website. I just search for them here and copy and rename it. And if you want these images, you can access the code in the description. So now we are ready to begin. So I will remove this. We will start creating a div called top content. And if you don't have these emmet abbreviations, you can just go to your VS Code extensions and install this one. ES7 plus React Redux and React graph something. I don't really remember, but it's this one. You just have to install it, and after this you have these emmet abbreviations. And now let's create a header that I call places to meet, and just put some paragraph if you want. I'll put this one. So if you want to support the channel, just like and subscribe, okay? And in this end, I will type HTML abbreviation. I will call amp. So this is the way to tell HTML to write in ampersand, okay? Of course, this is not HTML, it's JSX, but it's simulating HTML, okay? And now we can just say that we will put a carousel in here, okay? But first of all, let's create our component. So in src, I'll create a new folder called components, and then let's create the carousel.js. Also, we will create another folder style just to make all organized, okay? And create a carousel.css. Here in the carousel.js, I will use another emmet abbreviation, so I will type RFCE, and then they will create a React functional export component. Okay, so it's an easier way to type all this initial code. I will remove this because it's not necessary anymore. And I will save it, and now I can call it here in the app. So I just type carousel, and then I will put my cursor in the end of the word, and then I will press Ctrl and space, and it will appear the import. So it will import here, and now if I save the carousel, it's appearing in here, okay? And here in carousel, I can just import the CSS. So type import // and then style / carousel.css. Okay, so just to check if it's working, I just type all and background color red. Okay, it's working. Sorry about your eyes. Now we are going to create the data that we are going to export into the carousel. Okay, so here in component, let's create a data.js, and in here we are going to type export const countries, or any name you want, okay, of the array, and then equals to an array of objects. Okay, so I'll type the braces and then the curly braces, then type enter, and now I will put an image. Since the images are in the public folder, we don't have to type the .. to come back, because we just can't leave the src. Okay, so just to go to the public, I just have to type the /. Okay, so now we are in public, and then I have to type images and then the name of the image. Okay, .pg, and then comma, and the title that we are going to use. Okay, so type Brazil. So this is one object. Now I will create the others so we don't lose time. So these are all the objects that we are going to use in our carousel. All right, and now let's go back to our app.js, where we are calling the carousel, and let's call our data. Let's import countries from /component / data. All right, so now I'm going to pass these countries directly to the carousel through props. Doing this way, we can reuse this component, this carousel component, as many times as we want, and we can use different images as well. I'll type images equal to countries. Now we are passing all these images to the carousel, and it's giving me an error because this way that I'm using the import is only if I was using the default word in here. Okay, but I'm not using, so I need to put inside of curly braces. So now it's all okay. And if I come back here in carousel and type images, now I'll have access to all these images that I'm passing through here. All right, and after that we have all we need to create our carousel. So let's remove this, and in this div I will give a class name of carousel. You type enter, and now we are going to map through our images. So I'll type curly braces and then images.map parentheses and then parentheses again to create an arrow function. Type the arrow curly braces, enter, and in here I will call image. So this map function is responsible to give me access to each one of the images inside this array of images, and then I can choose the way that I'm going to show all this information. So just to show you, I'm going to return a div with the title. So I type image dot title. So here you can see all the titles of the images. Okay, so here Brazil, China, France, Japan, Norway. There's a signal that everything is working correctly. But if I open my DevTools and see the console, you see that we got an warning. So each child in a list should have a unique key prop. So to fix this, I need to put an index in here and pass it to the first div that we are returning in the map function. So type key and then type index. So if I save and if I update, the error is gone. So I'll just erase this and I will give this div a class name of carousel cards, and I'll just put all of this inside a carousel wrapper. I just forgot to do this. Carousel wrapper, and let me just put all of this inside. Okay, so now we can call our image. I'll type image and the src will be image.image. So if I save it, all our images are here. And then I will create another div called card overlay and a two called card title. So this card overlay will be responsible to hold our information that will stay above the image. Okay, so in this case we will only use a title, but you can put other informations like description, tags. So you just put image, image.title. Okay, so the title is here, everything is working, and now we can start styling our carousel. So first of all, let's put some basic CSS here in app.css. So let's put some rules here. I'll type margin 0 and padding 0, and then box sizing border box. And after this, when I save it, all margin and padding will be removed. So just put some CSS in app. Let's put the background color equals to F5, 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 just so it doesn't stay so white. Let's display flex, justify content in the center, and align items in the center. Let's change the flex direction to column, so the place to meet stay above the carousel. And let's type the width of 100 VW and the height of 100 VH. So we can just see all the content, but we will fix it. So let me just comment this for now, just so we can fix the top content. And now let's just take the top content and we'll put some margin bottom and a font size. Let's make it bigger. Let's align the text to the center, and let's put a color of steel blue. Okay, so we finished this, and now let's just uncomment this because we'll fix this in the carousel.css. So now let's begin to style our carousel. Let me close this. Let's begin with the carousel. So let's type display flex and put some fixed height and some width of 100% and a max width of 800 pixels. Now let's style the carousel wrapper. Let's put the position relative so we can work with the overlay in a absolute position. Let's put the width of 100% and a height of 100%. Okay, and now let's style the carousel card. Let's display flex, and then we'll put flex 1 so it take all the available space. Let's put a position of absolute so all of them stay above of each other. So how we are going to do this? We are going to put all of them above each other, and we will only show the current card. Let's put the width of 100% and the height as well. And now we'll put an overflow hidden. Some border radius of 20 pixels. And now let's create a shadow. Okay, so to do this, let's just go to a shadow generator. Let's go in here, and in here we can create a shadow. Let's just make it simple. Let's just remove the opacity, reduce the spread, increase the blur, and in here let's just put 0 and 0. Okay, so it's okay for me. So let's use this, just copy and paste. Now if I save it, here's the shadow, but it's too dark. Let's just put it in lower opacity, maybe here, so now it's better. And now let's just style the image. In here, we didn't put a class, so let's put in here cards underline image. So let's just take this class, put in here, and let's just say the width of 100% and object fit cover. Now this is looking like this because we didn't style the overlay yet. We are going to do this now, and of course we didn't save in here, so okay. Let's style the card overlay. Oh my god, I keep saying cards. Let's do the position of absolute, and now we can see that it's better in here, and the width of 100% and the height of 100%. The background color will be a black RGBA of 000.5. Okay, so it'll be a black with 50% of opacity, and then we are going to display flex so we can position easily the content. Let's just put some padding, 40 pixels on the top and bottom, and 30 pixels on the right and left. And let's just align items in the end, so flex end. Okay, so the title will be down here. And the last, let's style the card's title. So let's just put it here and just change the color to white and the font size to 30 pixels. Alright, now that we did all this styling, let's just start working on the logic. Later in the video, we are going to implement the controls. So let's go back to the carousel.js, and we are going to create a simple condition here in our class name of a carousel card. So I will just cut this, and then I'll type curly braces, index equals to anything, let's just say 2, question mark, and then a condition if it's true. If it's true, the class name will be carousel card and carousel card dash active. But if it's false, it will be only carousel cards. So this is a ternary operator. If you don't know what it is, it works just like this. So I'll give a condition, okay, condition, and you type question mark, and you say, if this condition is true, I'm going to do this. If it's false, I'm going to do this. So basically it's the same thing that we are doing here. If index equals 2, then the class name will be carousel card and carousel card dash active. But if this is false, it will be only carousel card. So if I save, nothing will happen because we didn't style this carousel card active. So let's just copy and let's just do this now. So let's just type opacity 1. So it will show just like this, okay? And transform scale 1 and pointer events visible. And now we can add some properties to this class. So I'm going to say that the initial state will be opacity 0, pointer events none, the transform will be scale .8, and the transition will be 0.5 seconds easy in out. Okay, so if I save this, it will show the second card. Okay, and if I change in here, if I type 1 for example, it will show the first one. If I type 0, it will show the 0 one because the index begins in the 0. Okay, so this is the actually first one, and then the second, and then the third, and I think you got it. So this is the basic logic, but we won't compare index with a number, with a fixed number. We use an state so we can modify this state using the controls or the autoplay. Okay, so let's just create this state. Let's just type const and we call it current, and then set current equals to use state. So I'll just choose this one. It will import in here, and then the initial state will be 0. Now I can just change in here. So the 2, I will put current, and now we are going to create the controls. So in here, let's just type dot carousel arrow left, and I won't use any icons. Okay, I will just use the HTML syntax. So I will just type ampersand LSAQO and a semicolon. Okay, if I save this, it will just show in here, but you can see because it's too small. Okay, and I will do the same. I just press Alt Shift and the arrow down key to copy, and just change this to right and this L to R. So the both are here, but we can't see. Let's just style them so it will be easy to see them. Okay, so let me just copy here. I'll put some styles to both of them. And just put the dots, and the position of them will be absolute. The font size will be 40%, and now we can see them in here. The top will be 50%, and I will transform just to put it in the middle. So translate 0 minus 50%. The background color will be Gainsborough. I will display flex, justify content to center, and align items to center, just so the chevron stay in the middle. When I limit the width, and here, and in here, the width and the height. So if I remove these properties, it will stay down here. So this is just to centralize them. Border radius of 50%, and a padding bottom of 7 pixels because it's not really in the middle. So now it is, and the cursor will be pointer. So when we hold it, it will be clickable. And now let's put some style to them individually. Start with the left key, the left arrow. I will put left 15 pixels, and then we just copy this and paste. Let's change this to right and this to right. So now that we have our arrows, we can implement the logic. So every time when I click it, I want to run a function. So to do this, I'm going to put onClick in here, and then I'll say slide left, and in here I will say slide right. If I save it, it will give you an error because I didn't create these functions. So let's create them. Let's put them in here. Const slide right equals to an arrow function, and now we just copy this and paste. This will be slide left. Okay, so now if I save this, the arrow is gone, and now every time when I click these buttons, I want to increment or decrement this current state. Okay, so to do this, I will say set current, and I will just say current plus 1, and in this left slide I just copy and say current minus 1. So if I save it and if I click, everything is working just fine. But let me just put a console log in here. So it will be current. So to show you what's happening, I will just put a console log in here, and let's just console the current. Okay, I will open the DevTools. And in here we can just see that it's showing 0. Okay, if I hit the slide right, it will show 1, 2, 3, 4, but when I reach the 5, it will show nothing in the card. The current will keep incrementing, and if I go to the other side, it will keep decrementing. So we need to implement some restraints. So when it reaches the beginning of the array, it goes to the end, and when it reaches the end, it goes back to the beginning. Okay. To do this, let's put an if statement, and let's just check if current is equal to the end of the array. Okay, in this slide right, images dot length minus 1, because in this case the current is going to from 0 to 4, and the size of the array is 5. So that's why we need to check if current is equal to the size of the array minus 1. Okay, and if it is, it will not run this command. It will go back to the beginning of the array. Okay, so let's just type 0, and else let's just type this one. So I will just save it, and now if I go to the end, just watching here, it's in 4. If I hit again, it goes back to 0. This is the bigger way to set it, but we can just use a ternary operator in here as well. So I'll just say set current, and let's just put the ternary operator inside of the set current. This is the condition. If current equals to image dot length minus 1, let's just put the ternary operator, and if it's true, put it equal to 0, and if it's not, let's just put it equal to current plus 1. Now we can remove this. Let's save. Let's check if everything is working, and now when we go to 4, it comes back to 0. Now we just need to do almost the same thing. The slide left, it's not the same logic, but I guess you understand it. So let's just set the current, and now we need to verify if current is equals to 0. If it is, it will set the current to images dot length -1. That is the end of the array. And if it's not, it will say current -1. Now I will just remove this. I will save. And if I go back, it's already in the beginning. If I click, it goes to the end of the array. If I click in here, it goes to the beginning. So now we have a infinite carousel. This is awesome. Now that everything is working with the arrows control, we can implement the pagination. To do this, let's create the pagination. I will just create another div, and I will call it carousel underline pagination. And in here, we are going to loop through the image array all again. So each dot of the pagination will represent one image. So let's just type the curly braces images dot map, and then let's just create an arrow function. And in here, we won't need the first argument, that is the image in this case. So we just put an underline, but we'll need the index. So let's just return a div here, and let's just put the key equal to index. And in here, we're going to implement the same logic that we used here in the primary images map. So I'll just copy this, the class name, and then I will paste it in here. I'll just save it so it organized. And now I'm going to change the name of the classes. So this carousel cart, I will just select it, and then I will press Ctrl D, so it select the next, and then Ctrl D again, so it select the next. And in here, I'll just type pagination underline dot. So if the index equals the current, this div will receive the classes of pagination dot and pagination dot active. But if it's not, it will receive only pagination dot. So let's just style these classes. Just save it, and let's just go to our carousel.css. I forgot to copy carousel pagination, and then let's just type position absolute, bottom of 5 pixels, a left of 15%, and let's just centralize it. Put in transform, translate, -50% and 0. It won't show anything because we haven't styled the dots. But now we are going to do this. Pagination dot. Now let's just put a height of 10 pixels and a width of 10 pixels. And then a background color of 5F. Just save it. And now the dots are here. Not yet dots, but they are here. So let's just put a border radius so they can look like dots of 50%. Let's just put a display, not block, but inline block. Add some margin to the left and a cursor pointer. So it looks like it's clickable. Okay, and now let's just style the pagination dash active. Let's just paste in here, and now just transform when someone hovered, so it's scale up of 1.2. So it, sorry, not this one. This is not the active. Let me just copy. Actually, it's the hover. Okay, so when I hover it, it just gets bigger. And now let's just style the pagination dot active, and I'll just change the color to steel blue. I put two dots in here, so now it's working. So now when I hover it, it just looks like it's clickable. Okay, but if I click it, it's not working yet because we didn't implement the logic. But if I pass using the arrows, it's working, as you can see, and it goes to the first one. So now let's implement the clicking logic in the pagination. Okay, so it's pretty simple. I just say that on click I will run an arrow function, because I will just put it here because it's just in one line. So I will set the current to the index of this pagination map. So each one have an index that is corresponding to the respective image. Okay, so if I save it, this is the first image. If I click it, it will show the second and the third, so it's working pretty fine. And now we just have to implement the autoplay logic. So to do this, we are going to create a new use state. I'm going to call it autoplay, and then set autoplay, and its initial state will be no. Now I'm going to use a infinite use effect to keep calling it. Okay, let's just type use effect. I will choose this one so it can import it, and then I will just put parentheses and then an arrow function. And usually you put some restrictions in the use effect. Okay, but in this case we are not going to do this because our restriction will be using a set timeout. So I just type set timeout. Okay, and this function is basically like this. It will always run a function that we declare, okay, a certain amount of time. So I just type 2500. Okay, each 2.5 seconds it will run this function. And since I didn't limit this use effect, it will run infinitely. So this function will be an arrow function, and I will just call slide right. So if I save it, we can see that it's working. Okay, each 2.5 seconds it will slide to the right. But if I hover it, nothing will happen because we didn't create a logic to stop when the mouse enters or the mouse leaves the carousel. And to do this, we are going to create a variable called timeout. So this timeout will be responsible to hold this set timeout, and we are going to put a condition based on the autoplay. So let's just say that timeout will be equals to this set timeout only if the autoplay is true. Okay, so I could just type the ternary operator, but in React we have another operator that works just like the ternary operator, but it don't have the false statement. So using the AND operator in this conditional rendering, I will just say that if autoplay equals to true, then you just give this timeout this value. Okay, but if it's false, it won't do anything. It will just stay no. It's basically this. So if I save it, nothing will happen because we are not controlling the autoplay. All right, but if I just say autoplay, actually it will stop because I put the wrong value in here. Its initial state will be true. So now it's fixed. Now it's working just fine. And if I put false, it will stop. All right, let me just say true because we are going to use the mouse enter, mouse leave to control the statement. And we will put this condition in the div of the carousel. Okay, so let's just say on mouse enter, just create an arrow function that will say set autoplay to false and on mouse leave, it will just set it to true. Just put in here, set autoplay to true. So now if we test it, let's just wait. If I put my mouse, it will run again and then it will stop. Okay, this is not really what we want, because this is strange. It's like it's delaying, it's like it's lagging, so it's not common, it's not really good to the user. And to fix this, we need to clear the timeout every time we hover with our mouse. Okay, so we just have to clear this variable every time we hover it. So let's just type clear timeout of this variable that we just created. Let me just paste it, and now if I hover it, it won't run again. Okay, so it won't look like it's lagging or something like this. So this is it for the tutorial of today. I hope you like it. If you like it, don't forget to smash the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.